Okay, so we'll start off this haul with a new micro FPV camera from FXT. This is the Mars T70. And let's just get this out of the box and we'll take a quick look at it. Okay, so it comes with a little bit of documentation. 1000 TV line camera. I believe this is a CMOS camera. Yeah, CMOS sensor, 5 to 36 volts. And here's a quick look at it. It's got a huge lens and very long focal length. This is much bigger than your typical micro camera. The board size is 19 by 19. That's the same as a lot like the Micro Swift, but this lens is much longer, so this is not going to fit a lot of frames. You're going to have to probably do some sort of a mod. So here's the Micro Sparrow. You can see it's the same size that way, but when you put it like in this orientation, you can see the lens is much longer and much bigger. So here are the pinouts in the back, 5 to 36 volts. You have ground, video, audio. So it looks like this has a microphone here somewhere. And then you have the power. I think that's for the voltage. I think it has an on-screen display for voltage. And then you got a two pin connector for your OSD controller, but it doesn't look like this comes with one. You do get the mount that a lot of these micro cameras come with. And you get a couple of cables here for connecting up the camera to your drone. So yeah, I'll have a review video on this coming up pretty soon. Okay, so this is the new HGLRC XJB F440 TX20 version 2. And they have this boxed up with a 1000 microfarad 35 volt capacitor. Obviously this is to dampen video noise. But yeah, this one comes with a 40 amp BLHeli32 4-in-1 ESC. This is 20 by 20, of course. The TX20 video transmitter, and then the F4 version 2 board. So let's take a look at what this looks like. Okay, so it comes packaged like typically like all the other power cubes from HGLRC. You got the 3 boards, you got your mounting hardware, and then your video transmitter whip antenna. Here's the 4-in-1 ESC, 20 by 20, 40 amps this time, and BLHeli32. This looks pretty typical, pretty much the same as the F428, but now you can see here they've increased the size of the battery leads here, the pads here. You got top and bottom, they're much larger now, that's much better, and I think you're going to connect your capacitor over on this side here. There's 3 pinouts here on this side, and then you have looks like a transmit pin here. I think that's for the ESCs to go to your flight controller. Yeah, because there's no extra pin here for the connection to the flight controller. That's the same. Looks like the same as before. So that's probably for the telemetry for the ESC. I guess I'll find out later in the review. This is the version 2 of the F4 board. Same pin connection on the bottom, OSD. It looks like they changed the solder pads a little bit. They're a little bit more rounded, a little bit bigger. And the location looks like the layout's a little bit different as well. And this is the TX20, and I think this looks the same. Actually, I think they might have moved some of the pins that were on this side over to this side here. And we just have video, ground, 5 volts, OSD, RX, ground, and 7 to 26 volts. Yes, so I believe this is a newer version of the TX20 that will do the smart audio. So I think that's what this connection here says OSD RX. That's for your connection to the flight controller, to one of the UARTs, so you can do smart audio. I believe that is what this is. So I'll take a closer look at this in the review. So a lot of new parts here from HGLRC. It looks a lot different, so we'll do a full review on all that stuff. Okay, got another version of the B-Core V2. This is the FlySky version and not the FreeSky version, but I think it'll look pretty much the same. So here's a quick look at the board. It pretty much looks the same to me, except that, obviously the receiver chip's going to be different, so I think that's going to be that one right there, and it's not going to come on the camera. You can see that chip is different from the FreeSky version. This has the FlySky chip, or the FlySky receiver chip, and this one will do iBus, and I believe failsafe will work as well on this one too. So I'm not going to do a full review on this one because I already did want to put a card in the corner to that. But if I discover anything unusual or different about this one, I'll definitely let you guys know. But I'll probably do another build anyway, and we'll see how this one flies too. Okay, so this is another micro drone from Gearbest. This is the Happy Model Mantis 85. And I thought this would be interesting to check out because it's kind of lightweight, runs 2S only. It's got a 16 by 16 stack, so this might be like kind of a good entry level, cheap model. I think it's under $100 for this. I think with a coupon, I think I've seen it for as low as 80. So for a brushless micro, if you want to get into this, might be an interesting model to check out. And it comes in FlySky, FlySky, and Spectrum, and so I think this one is the FlySky version. So it comes with a pretty nice manual. Yeah, so if you're a beginner starting out with brushless micros, I think this one might be a pretty good one to check out. The manual looks pretty good setup wise. Got some spare props. These are the King Kong 1935s. They're okay props. And we got a 2S 400 milliamp hour LiPo. Looks like it's 30C rated JST connector. So it doesn't look like there's any kind of a charger that comes in the box. So you're going to need to have a charger to charge this up. Usually they give you like a USB charger to charge the battery. So that's a little disappointing that's not included, but those are not terribly hard to find. There's a lot of chargers out there. I'll put some in the description in the review later. Anyway, so here's a quick look at it. So you got a smaller 16 by 16 stack. These are 6 amp 4-in-1 ESCs. I think it's a F4 CPU in here. It's got an OSD. Got your all-in-one camera here, video transmitter. It looks like the antenna's kind of bent down. And yeah, we'll take a closer look at this later. I think it's got some pretty nice motors though. Yeah, some 1102 9000 kV. So it's going to have pretty good power on 2S. Pretty lightweight. And yeah, I'll check this out, and we'll see how this thing flies. Okay, so I picked up some new EMAX light spec motors. These are some new ones here. These are 2207 motors, and these are 2400 kV. Probably should have gotten the 2550 kV, but this will probably be better on, say, like a higher pitch prop like the Jump Fan, the 5152s. The 2550s are probably better on a lower pitch prop like a 5040 prop. So let's take a look at what this looks like. So pretty nice motor, pretty thick motor wires here, fairly long. Looks like this should be able to reach a 4-in-1 EC no problem. Wish they were a little bit longer. Let's look at the bottom of the motor. You got sort of this new style here where the bottom is more exposed. Could be a good thing or a bad thing. Doesn't look like a lot of things will get up from underneath to damage the windings, but the windings are exposed there. And it looks like it's a pretty well manufactured motor. You can see the balancing mud there. Clogging is not super strong, so it should be okay in terms of heat. And you got a lock nut, of course, and a totally different design here on the top for the airflow. You can see some of the little ridges there. I think that's going to improve the airflow and keep the motor cool. But yeah, we'll do a review on this. I'll get this on a build and we'll see how this flies. I heard this is a pretty good motor. Okay, so I picked up some new GMB batteries from Crazy Pony on Amazon. And interestingly, they come in these King Kong RC packaging. It's kind of weird. It's a GNB battery though. I don't think that these are in stock in Banggood anymore, but they are on stock in Amazon. You can get 2 of these for $11. If you're looking for more of these batteries for your Bold Clash, the B06 brushless whoop, this is a good battery. It's got high C rating. It's got the 2.0 connector. So this is definitely a decent battery. And I think it's actually the same battery that the B06 comes with. It's just that it's got obviously the GNB labeling and not the Bold Clash labeling. And I believe the price is actually less on Amazon versus ordering it from Bold Clash. So if you're looking for an alternative battery, same size, same form factor, and I think it's going to perform just as well. But I will check it out and I'll let you guys know if it's worth it or if it's a dud. Well, hopefully it's not a dud. Okay, so I picked up a new eWRF video transmitter. This is the E7082TM. It's a little bit different version from the one before, lighter. Just comes with a little micro connector here and one button. They still have the LED, which I wish that they would have gotten rid of, and they no longer have the SMA connector. They just have a small whip antenna. Obviously, you could replace this with something else if you want, but it's extremely lightweight. I believe it's like 3 grams. Comes with a connector here, and this does come with the smart audio feature so that you can connect it up to your flight controller and change your bands and channels with your flight controller. So here's some stats. You have, it's 48 channels, 6 to 25 volts, and it does 25, 100, and 200 milliwatts, and you can see the connection here for your OSD for the flight controller so that you can do smart audio. So I'll get this on something, and we'll, obviously I already did a video on smart audio. We'll see how this works, and pretty much expect that it'll work the same. It's kind of a lighter version of the one that I reviewed earlier. Okay, got the new TX200 video transmitter add-on from RunCam. This is basically an upgraded version of the TX25. And here's what it looks like. They no longer have a soldered antenna. They're using a micro FL connector. Some will argue that's good, some will say bad. Obviously you can switch to different antennas if you want. It's like a circular polarized antenna, but the concept's the same. It's a little backpack for your Micro Swift or Micro Sparrow or some other similar sized 19 by 19 camera, and then you just plug that into the back, and then you have power here, probably 5 volts, and you can get up to 200 milliwatts now. I don't think it's power switchable. I think it's just 200 milliwatts all the time, I believe. But we'll take a look at this later and have a video on this, and I'll find out. Okay, so I just picked up some more of these BBB 1105 7500 kV motors. These are very good motors. I'm going to be putting this on the Diatone GTR90 frame. I'm going to do sort of a hybrid build with some, bigger motors and a higher kV on 3S, and see how that performs relative to the standard GTR90. So stay tuned for that video. That should be pretty interesting. So I picked up some more of these Foxeer Pagoda Pro antennas. They're pretty good antennas. This is a shorter version, 68 millimeters. The other one is 86 millimeters. And this one here is the RP SMA connector instead of the SMA connector from the other one that I had. And I think this is the black one, and this one's the red one. Yeah, so we have a red one and a black one. They come in shorter and longer, and RP SMA and SMA. So links in the description if you guys want to check it out. But this one definitely has good reception. Okay, so I picked up some of these 1103 15,000 kV motors from Aokfly. I'm not sure if this will go 3S or not, but that would be pretty nuts if it did. There's no documentation in the box. You can barely read the label, but it says 1103 15,000 kV, and that's what it looks like. It's pretty tiny, very light. Cogging is not too high. Looks similar to the other Aokfly motor, the white one. And they got the same plastic motor wires, which is kind of unfortunate. You can see how rigid this is. It doesn't bend. This was silicone. But yeah, I think probably you have to do this on 2S, no more than 2 inches, and at least a 15 amp ESC. So this will be an interesting build. Probably a pretty good performer on a 2-inch prop, but we'll see. I'll have to. Hopefully they don't explode. 15,000 kV is quite a high kV for a small motor like this. Okay, so this is the Realacc Real 2. It's a 5-inch drone. And this is a very unique looking drone. Got split level here, lower motor in the front, higher motor in the back. And you have a sort of battery mounting cage on the bottom here, but that doesn't look like that's going to be very safe. Yeah, it's probably going to get, when you crash, it's going to probably break here. This is too thin. So probably going to have to take that off. Yeah, I think this has got some BLHeli 32 ESCs. Yeah, 30 amp BLHeli 32 D-Shot 1200. So you got individual ESCs on the arms for this one. You got a PDB and probably an F4 flight controller. Then you got the video transmitter with the antenna sticking out the top where the GoPro should go. That's bizarre. And we have some 2205 2300 kV motors. These look like some Racer Star clones or Racer Star motors. Yeah, interesting looking drone. A lot of aluminum here. It's not super light, so we'll have to see how this performs. No idea what kind of camera's in there. I haven't actually looked at the spec sheet at all. But yeah, I'll do a review on this, and we'll see how good or bad this is. It's pretty interesting looking, though. Okay, looks like we got some more goodies here from Diatone. Looks like they sent me, looks like this is the GTM5, I believe, frame. Pretty nice. Wow, it's like ultra smooth carbon. I think they've processed this somehow, epoxy perhaps. Look at this very smooth chamfered edges. This is a really nice looking frame. Yeah, so I'm going to do a build on this eventually at some point, but looks like they've already sent it built out. Got these this nice titanium color here. Obviously it's for 5-inch props, so 220X size motors. It looks like this is the X version, the true X, not the stretched X. Pretty nice. Looking forward to getting some parts into this and flying this one. This is a pretty nice looking frame. And this is the new GTM3, I believe, and it's a 3-inch, kind of 3-inch version of the GTR90. Basically, you have the same components: flight controller, ESCs. Obviously, he's got the TBS Unify there in the bottom, the same plastic cage for the flight controller stack, same micro camera in the front there. That's the exact same camera, but we have basically a smaller 3-inch version of the GTM5 frame on a 3-inch setup here. But it's a single bottom plate. The arms are not replaceable. Pretty nice. You got some Diatone branded edge racing motors here. 1408 4000 kV. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Yeah, it looks like this might be a stretched X. So it's a little bit longer. Yeah, it's a stretched X. It's a little bit longer than it is wide. So it looks like, I don't know if they'll have a true X version of this frame or not. Yeah, I'm looking forward to flying this thing, and I'll get some videos out for this pretty soon. Okay, got another micro drone here from Gearbest. This is from Full Speed RC, the BB66. Okay, so here's all what you get in the box. You get some propellers here, some 3-bladed, I think these are 40mm propellers. You get a 1S battery, 250 high volt GNB, looks like 30 to 60 C, and then you got looks like a USB adapter. You got some spare little braces for the prop protector, some rubber bands, and it looks like this is a USB battery charger for this battery. And here's a quick look at it. It's got a nice little TPU printed, 3D printed camera protection canopy, and I think these are 0703 full speed branded. These are FlySky motors, I believe, 15,000 kV. Got the nice little carbon prop protectors there, and you got 2 stack looks like 4 ESC and a flight controller. So I'll go over this in more detail in the review, but yeah, it looks pretty cool, very light. I think it's like under 30 grams.